Awesome.
All right, hey guys, this is the start of a new class. I got my good friend Dustin here, Dom, and Michael. We're going to be talking pretty much all things crypto. Crypto is not something I'm quote unquote into. I'll let Dustin deal with that shit. And anytime I have questions about NIFs and all that other craziness. So all I know, it's electronic money that's making a lot of money that I wish I was in like years ago. That's what I know.
Yeah, man.
But I know a lot of y'all, whenever y'all are joining GMB Pros, I've been seeing, like goals and different things. A lot of them are saying, hey, they're into cryptocurrency. So I was like, let's see how many people are interested. And I had like 50 something comments on it. So that's why we're starting this. It will be every Sunday, same time, every day. Every Sunday, and if we take a break, I'll let y'all know, obviously. But pretty much any questions you have, just drop them in the chat. It's kind of like a Q&A. It's not going to be really a quote unquote class. It's let's go over some shit, how to get things started, how to get set up, advice, stuff like that. Just same thing like I do a lot of other classes with Chris Palmer, Holly Starks, and myself. It's laid back. Don't think of these classes or anything uptight or anything like that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing them. I don't like uptight shit. So, let's see. All right, we're good to go. We're recording, buddy.
Sweet.
I'll let y'all go at it, and I will drop any questions. Anybody ever ask anything? I will go ahead and let y'all know them as well. All right.
Sweet. Bill, thanks, man, for the warm introduction. And by the way, everybody, I got my two business partners. We actually run, so how we know Bill is actually through the SEO community, right? So we still run an agency. I got my two business partners, Dom and Mikey. Well, actually, Dom's over here, right? And Mikey's over here. And anyways, Bill asked us to come on here and talk about crypto. But the one question that I kind of have for the SEO community is if you're brand spanking new to the crypto, just to kind of get a rolling tally, like if this is your first year into crypto, drop a 1 in the chat. If you've been in crypto for a while, if you can, drop a 2 in the chat, just so we kind of understand where everybody's at, Let's see what we get. Just keeping an eye on the chat. Somebody, even a 1, you could put a 0 and 2. Kevin, how many years you been in crypto? 1, Matt. What's that? Did he say?
I said they can if they want.
Oh, that's Mike. That's Mike talking.
Used to mine. Oh, Holly used to mine. I had 10 amp miners. I like it. That's like 2014. That must have been like the S3 or something, like some kind of crazy model. That's large partly. That's actually my background is the mining industry. So we got Kevin's been in it for 3, been in it for a while. Melted my electric. Yeah, definitely. Everyone, I got shipped about 5 minutes. Not sure when I should sell it, or so half of it. I have 34 million of it, but it's worth 9 at the moment. We can get into SHIB. We can get into SHIB for sure.
Let's see if there's more 1s and 2s.
Let's see if so far it's pretty it's even. We only got 1 and 1 2. So all right, well, I'd like to know what other exchanges to use besides doesn't US finance people. So the exchanges, it's going to vary for everybody, right? So like the exchanges that I recommend for William in the Philippines is going to be different from the exchanges that I recommend for people in the United States. If you are in the United States, by the way, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. You are not legally allowed to buy these altcoins in the United States. However, you can go to KuCoin and they will let you sign up and you can buy as many as you want, right? And you don't need a VPN to do that, right? Not saying that this is what I do, but if there is an exchange that you are blocked because you are a United States citizen, apparently a $66 NordVPN can get around that. And next thing you know, you're shopping at all the exchanges. Again, not financial advice. It's not something that I practice or do. But I have seen quite a bit of people do that, right? As far as SHIB goes, Dom, I feel like you're kind of like the SHIB spokesman. So this guy, sounds like, is that Holly that bought SHIB?
No, it's a something.
Okay, okay. So he got SHIB 5 to 6 months ago. Just to kind of let you know where we're at on it, I actually bought SHIB. William, do you got can you let us share the screen?
Yeah, bud. Give me 1 second.
Wait.
There you go.
I bought SHIB about a week ago. So let's see here, screen 2. Let's just take a look at it real quick. SHIB new. Do you have any charts on it, Dom?
Yeah, I have one that I drew. I was so I started talking about Shiba Inu. I don't know, what was it, a month ago? Or
You
maybe
started
15
talking
years?
about it. You started talking about it like right back in here.
Yeah.
Actually, it
so
was earlier than that, back down here.
Yeah, I noticed it flatlined. So my whole idea was that if it did what it did in the past, if it does just half of that, a few $1,000s is going to go a very long way. But with an investment like that, when you hit your goal, let's say your goal is to 2x your money, double your money, or maybe triple your money, you get out immediately.
Well, so if he bought 5 or 6 months ago, he had to buy, they had to have bought in this buying range right here, this long accumulation.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I hate to tell anybody when to buy and when to sell. Like it's not a good thing to do, right? Like I think we all
Yeah.
agree with that. However, if you're up on your trade, let me see here in the chat, what was your initial investment? So you said it's worth, what did they say it was worth? I only put in $100, right?
Mhm.
And he said it's worth $9,000 to $1,000 at the moment. So if you're worried about it and you bought back down here and you put in $100 and now it's worth about $900 to $1,000, one strategy that I like to look at, because he's obviously way up on this trade, right? You bought down here, boom, it's way up here, right? Why not at least pull out the coins that are in there? It's kind of like house money. You could take that $100 and go buy something else more speculative. However, another strategy would be to take out your seed money and take out an additional 30% and lock in at least 30% profit, right? That to me sounds more enticing because you're actually realizing those gains. As far as like fundamentals goes for Shiba Inu, Dom, I mean, I don't think it doesn't even have like a real use case. Is there any kind of utility behind the project, or is it just a cool picture of a dog with a big, community behind it?
No, I started following them on Twitter to see what was going on after I realized that it might be a good purchase, and they just turned on a burn mechanism. So now every time Shiba is sent, a little bit of Shiba is gone forever from that transaction. So that over time could make the price go up, but there still are a ton of coins. So I don't know exactly what the future holds for it.
But it's right now, there's no other utility behind it, right?
I think they have an NFT marketplace, and they are like considered a form of payment in some areas, but I'm not totally sure what the whole like purpose of Shiba is besides all these little like one-off things.
All right. And just so everybody knows, when we say the utility, like, is there a use case? Like, can it be used for something other than just like a store value, right? Bitcoin, that's their use case. They were the first ones to have it, so they kind of own that claim to fame. But the one thing I know about the crypto community, there's lots of clones. What some of these projects do is they just download the code base, the source code from another project. They slap a different label on it, and then they call it their coin, and boom, they got a clone of it, right? Nobody really, everybody that's new to crypto doesn't know that, right? But there's people out there that are looking at the source code and, revealing some of these projects and stuff like that. So again, you kind of, there's thousands of coins out there to pick and choose from, right? But I'm here to tell you that about 90% of the coins out there are going to be scams. That's not to say that you can't make money on them, right? I think we've all made money on scam coins before if you've bought into the hype, right? But the thing is like, you just need to be able to be disciplined enough and understand the game that you're playing with that. And, you know, get in, get out, and don't jump back in is kind of my only advice with that. But as far as that goes, Dom, what about, so like, what are your, like, for me personally, I just bought into SHIB last week. So I'm expecting this to, I'm expecting this to go higher from here. You know, I'm a big fan of the Elliott wave, where it's like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, you know, and then wave 5, right? But honestly, I think, you know, and don't take this as financial advice, but I do think that SHIB's it's got legs to it. And you can actually buy it on Coinbase. I imagine most of the people, would you say most of your crowds here in the US? Have you done a rolling tally, William?
No, most of them would not necessarily be in the US. I got people in all over, but predominantly I would probably say yes.
Predominantly in the US. So like I said, most of, you know, and I know a lot, there's other exchanges out there you can use, but if you are in the US, I would, and you haven't got set up with crypto yet, I would highly recommend using Coinbase. If you're in the Philippines, I think what we determined for the best exchange for people in the Philippines, I do believe, and Dom, don't quote me on this, I think it's eToro. eToro lets people in the Philippines connect.
Yeah, it was eToro.
Was it?
Yeah, it was eToro.
But you can buy SHIB Inu on Coinbase, and here's kind of my philosophy behind it. You know, as the price of Bitcoin continues to go up, and I think right now we're sitting at 62,000, you're going to see a lot more people get excited. They're going to get back into it, right? And most people will gravitate towards Coinbase as their first exchange to buy their first cryptocurrency in the US predominantly, right? And, you know, most people, I would tell them like, hey, you need to get started buying Bitcoin. And I'll talk more about like how to set that up here in a second. But the reason why I bought SHIB Inu was because I knew that it was community driven. It's kind of like the Dogecoin, right? And there's a lot of people that are promoting it, shilling it on Twitter. And, you know, a lot of people are going to stick their money in this exchange, and they're going to be like, well, Bitcoin's 62,000. I can't even buy a whole one, but I could put $100 on SHIB and I can get 1 million coins, right? And so even though that's not the best investment advice, right? People will still gravitate towards that with the idea that maybe someday this coin could be the next Bitcoin, right? And honestly, like, if there's any coin, oh man, it logged me out. If there's any coin that's going to be the next Bitcoin, I would say it's going to be Ethereum. But anyways, Dom, do you have that chart on SHIB?
Yeah, but one thing I wanted to say before we go into any altcoin is that if you're getting into the market, if you're new, go for Bitcoin, because there's only 21 million Bitcoin. There will never be more. And when you learn about the technology behind it, you'll be excited to own just $10 of it.
Well, and let me get back into my Coinbase here in a second. I'll show people, like, this is the Warren Buffett of it. And Bill, this is what I would recommend. I think we went over this slightly, but let me get logged back in here for a second. It logged me out, 7381. Let me log back in here.
Another thing with Bitcoin is that it's probably one of the safest investments out of any of the other cryptocurrencies.
Oh, 100%. You know, and I get, you know, why people look at it and say, well, why would I buy this? It's so expensive, right? But let me see here. Where the hell is my damn? There it is.
Still has a lot of room to grow.
So yeah, so you can see right here, there's a strategy that Warren Buffett, his coin, it's dollar cost averaging. They call it DCA, right? And basically the theory behind it is, let me see here, DCA calculator, right? And this is kind of, like I said, this is what I would recommend that you start out doing, Bill, on eToro, is just to get your bank account connected there. And you can see right here, you know, if I purchased, let's say $20 a week, accumulated starting let's just say I started 4 years ago, accumulating for 4 years, right? At $20 a week, you would have invested a total of $4,180, right? At $20 a week, which would currently be worth $27,556, right? Crazy to think that a $20 investment can grow that large, right? And so that's why like a lot of people look at it like, well, do I have to go in there and buy a whole Bitcoin? The answer is no, you don't, right? I got my weekly with Coinbase. You can see right here. Where's it at? I bought $10 right here. Boom, boom, boom. And I buy $10 every single week, like it's a religion, right? Now I already have some Bitcoin, right? But I'm just doing this to show people, like, I think I started out with like $2,000 put in here, and I'm already up $1,000. And I started this, I think 3 months ago, and I'm already up, right? So that's definitely a good one. And once you get your Bitcoin dialed in, I would say at least buy another, if you can afford to, right? Maybe you have to break it up into smaller chunks, but another good coin to start accumulating and dollar cost averaging into is Ethereum. I would say that most of my holdings is in Bitcoin, but I do have a large position in Ethereum as well. And that makes a great second coin. I honestly think Ethereum is going to go to $10,000 this round, but the reason why I'm saying this, but please don't buy just based on what I say. Please do some research, ask some questions, join their Discord, get out there, expose yourself. Just don't blindly buy stuff for the sake of what I'm saying, right? I guess that's all I'm going to say about that. But I just want to make sure I'm very clear that it's not financial advice, right? But
Sure. Dustin, I have 2 books I want to show everyone.
Yeah, which ones?
Internet of Money, right here.
Ooh.
And then the Internet of Money 2. And I believe there's an Internet of Money 3.
Are those from what's his name, Antonopoulos?
Yes,
Yeah.
Andreas Antonopoulos.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that brings me up my next point.
I think one of the best things you could do if you don't, if everything is moving too fast in the crypto space for you, the best thing you can do is educate yourself about it. So watch some YouTube videos, read these books, The Internet of Money, and understand the underlying technology, and then start buying. Because a lot of people say a lot of different prices, and it could happen, it could not happen. So you don't want to just buy something based on what 20 people say. They give you a range. You might come up with your own like price in your head, even though you're new to the market. So to avoid that and the confusion, learn about the technology.
Yeah, that brings me up to another point that I want to let people know is, because you guys will fall into this trap, right? About 95% of the content creators around cryptocurrency on YouTube are there to shill you something, right? They're there. Maybe the project gave them 5 million coins to promote their project on their YouTube channel. And they're going to go ahead and create a video saying it's going to go to whatever price point, and then it lures you into buying that coin. And then later on, you find out that the coin actually went down in value, and they call it they're calling it the rug pull, right? That's what they're calling it.
The rug pull. Yeah.
The rug pull. If there's one influencer that I would highly recommend, if you really want to learn about blockchain from a very technical standpoint, Andreas Antonopoulos, this guy right here is the real deal. There are some other ones out there, but just be careful who you follow for advice about cryptocurrency on YouTube. But anyways, Dom, where's that chart on SHIB?
Oh yeah, so I can share my screen.
I'm wanting this shit to go to the moon too. Bill, what kind of questions do you have about cryptocurrency? I know that you're kind of new to the space, man. I know that we've been trying to get you into it for a while.
Just need to set an appointment where me and you can do it together.
Really. Oh yeah.
We
My calendar is so crazy that I just honestly, if I have to do something, it's like I have to make an appointment. Otherwise, it'll just never happen. And I need it to happen because it doesn't take that much to invest in it. You ain't got to invest, $10,000 at that one whopping time or whatever.
No, I mean, I would honestly, look, even with like, if you wanted to, $50 a week, 10,000 invested, $70,000. So this is it just kind of gives you, and like I said, you can adjust it too with Coinbase. You could set it up. I could buy, boom, one-time purchase, set up a weekly purchase, or if I wanted to purchase it daily, I could, right? And really, all it takes is, one Starbucks coffee a week, and you could be investing in crypto. Yeah, it's nothing really, right?
So Raised is asking, is there any YouTube channels you actually recommend that are not shilling?
Well, like I said, Andreas Antonopoulos, this would be a good one. Let me put this in the group right here. He's very tech. Dom, you got some good ones. This is one of the only guys as far as like cryptocurrency technology and understanding blockchain, he's about the only one I follow. Honestly, like I can't watch those YouTube videos where these people are like screaming Bitcoin's going to crash or Bitcoin's going to $1 million. I can't do it. But what other ones you got, Dom?
There's
those other ones that Kenon was showing us last night. Those two really good ones.
That was that's a trader. So that trader is Tyler S, but that's for trading.
Tyler S.
Yeah, and
I wanted to have some trading, some technology, like education.
Yeah. The other two educational ones, the guy's name is Matthew Crater. It's Matthew. I think it's Trader University. He doesn't teach you how to trade, but he teaches you about the technology, even though his thing is Trading University. And the other one is a podcast called What Bitcoin Did.
Bitcoin did.
It teaches you how it changed the world in ways that we still haven't seen.
Nice.
Like, what were we gonna say?
There's also a couple TED Talks about like there's one called the 4 pillars of a decentralized society and other I guess like things that blockchain could do like in the future outside of money in terms of like shaping society, stuff like that.
Well, Dom was recommending books. If you guys really want to understand, because this is the big thing, right? This is the overall biggest question in crypto, right? Because you can all go over here, right? We can go look at, coin market cap. We can go to cryptocurrencies and we can look at all these coins, right? But there's tens of thousands of them. So somebody that's brand new to this space, looks at all these 10,000 coins and says to themselves, well, how do I know what a good investment looks like, right? Because it's confusing, right? There's a guy named Nick Patel that has this book called it's called the Altcoin Trader's Handbook. He also has a website and a newsletter that you can sign up for where he does a market outlook every single week. However, this guy teaches you, the first part of the book's about his life and stuff like that, which I kind of skipped over it. I went to the good stuff, but somewhere about midway through the book, he basically teaches you his recipe on how to spot these, what they call like micro cap and small cap coins, right? And so if you are looking to take, because a lot of people want to take 50 to $100 and try to risk it and turn it into $10,000 in a matter of a couple months, right? And let's face it, I'll be real with you. Bitcoin, if you're looking to do that, Bitcoin's probably not going to be the best vessel for you. However, if you don't want to learn how to trade and you want to get into the space and invest and not have to worry about so many things on a day in and day out basis, then just stick with dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And really, from a business standpoint, that's all. If that's all you wanted to do, William, that's all you had to do. Just buy $20 worth of Bitcoin every week, buy $10 worth of Ethereum every week. And in 4 or 5 years, you're going to call me and say, how the hell do I cash all this money out? Right. You can do that right now. There's another large part of the crowd that wants to take a small sum of money and buy the next Bitcoin, right? And turn it into, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And so I guess what I'm trying to say is if you want to learn how to navigate that investment strategy, this book right here and Nick's website right here is going to be the best resource that teaches you how to identify these one-off coins and essentially be able to read the market and learn whether that's in an accumulation zone or if it's in a distribution zone, right? Accumulation means the whales are buying up the coins, so you probably should too. Distribution means the whales are actually distributing the coins, so that's probably a bad time to buy, right? Anyways, that book, I've read it 2 or 3 times and I've found it to be very profound in, teaching me, about market cap, how to spot scam coins and stuff like that. But anything you got anything you could shed some light on with that, Dom? Or Holly bought the Kindle book. All right, you will not be disappointed. That is a very good book, Holly, promise you. But it doesn't get hot. It doesn't get all good until about page 94, 95. So if you don't want to read the life story, just skip to page 95 and he'll get straight down into the recipe. And, honestly, I thought about hiring a developer to actually automate his recipe, his framework, and turn it into a spreadsheet. But maybe after Holly reads the book, she can reach out to me. We can develop a real tool that spots these coins, right? Holly, is there anybody that's other than Holly? Obviously, it sounds like you had some mining experience. Is anybody else into mining in the group? And Dan, I didn't ignore your question. I do follow Alex Becker. I don't think that he's putting out too shilly of content. Actually, I kind of agree with a lot with what Alex Becker says about the market, but he's kind of a hype train, man. He just goes around and hops on every trend and just talks about them. So, he's not a crypto OG like Andreas.
Yeah, I've been watching his new stuff on and off. And he talks about gaming a lot, like gaming coins, like Sandbox, and just all these virtual reality worlds and horse racing and whatever. And I think he's onto something with these games. But I don't know if the games are there yet for them to like take off.
Right.
He might be a few years too early, but if you're in gaming and you understand where he's coming from and you maybe play games yourself and you see how big the community is in gaming, it might be a good thing to sit on, like a good coin. You find one of those good gaming coins and sit on it for 5 years, and it might be something very good. Might go up like 100x or so.
It could. Let's check out what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin just broke $62,000. I told everybody it was going to go back up. Everybody was freaking out when it went down to 30,000. I'm like, relax. The bull run is not over, folks. It's too early. Right? So you can see right here, it broke resistance right here. Bam, shot straight up. Just like I knew it would. So the all-time high is right here. Right. So once we break this 64,895, we will be in a new all-time high. So essentially right now we're probably going to trade somewhere in between here and here. We might go sideways, but mark my words, when we break this right here, you're going to see probably a $2,000 to $3,000 move once it breaks that. But as far as where it's going to go this bull run, I would say somewhere on the low end of $100,000 and somewhere on the high end. After Dom showed me that video, we could see as high as $350,000 Bitcoin. Now, nothing's guaranteed, right? It's crypto, but I think honestly, honestly, after watching that video you sent me, Dom, I think it's going to go close to 350,000. It's going to hit that fib line this time around.
I think we'll do at least $180,000 to $200,000 Bitcoin. I think that's pretty conservative, at least.
You think so?
It's about, is it 20x from the
look at that. It's a thing of beauty right there.
It did 20. It doesn't leave me. It is that totally is possible. Would not be surprised if it did. But I think at least 200.
Let's see, this one needs to turn into support right there.
I did math on the bull run. So what we're in now, everyone, it's called a bull run when Bitcoin goes up.
Right.
And the reason it does that is because there's a supply shock, because you mine Bitcoins and then every 4 years there's a halving event, and those halving events are very significant. And that triggers this event where the price goes up a lot because there's less Bitcoin circulating around. So a while back in 2018, when I really went heavy into crypto, I did a lot of math on where I thought the price would go. And my math came out to like 300-ish, around 300. And now everyone's saying like 2 to 3, maybe 180, all that. So it's kind of cool to see that happening and how it's kind of predictable in a way.
Yeah. So to piggyback what Dom was saying is, this halving, right? So like back when Bitcoin first came out, shit. I mean, when Holly was mining it, the damn block rewards were 25 Bitcoin. You hit a block, it was 25 Bitcoin. I mean, could you imagine hitting a block? And then, I bought pizza for 30 BTC. She's one of those ladies. I bet you she's regretting that right now. So like, what is that? Probably
That stuff was so important for the network, though. Those commercial transactions.
So that's is that a $1.8 million pizza, Holly? That she bought $1.8 million pizza, something like that. Damn. I mean, were those pepperonis on it made out of pterodactyl or T-Rex or something? I mean, something exotic at least. I mean,
crocodile or something.
Right. So basically what Dom's saying, so as you can see right here, this is not a really good illustration of it, but I wonder if this will let me go down to 1 month. It's kind of like Bitcoin once every 4 years goes on this bull run, right? And it has this this unique mechanism called the halvening, right? So Bitcoin, it's a proof of work concept protocol coin. So therefore, when I say for a second here, I owe Dominic some money and I want to pay him in Bitcoin, right? Well, I say it's $100, right? So I want to send Dominic $100 worth of Bitcoin. I get his wallet address, I put it into my wallet, and I send Dom $100 worth of Bitcoin, right? However, the miners on the network are the ones that process and verify that transaction. The first thing that they're going to do is they're going to check my wallet to make sure that I have the funds available, right? Great, I have the funds available. Boom, they process the transaction. And hold on a second here. Somebody's calling me on Discord.
Dustin is in high demand.
Yeah, I'm in high demand right now. There's going to be another guy, Dutchman, that joins. He's another crypto expert. My bad. So anyways, like I said, so the miners actually are what update the ledger, right? Because there has to be some kind of mechanism that keeps track of how much Bitcoin's in William's wallet, how much Bitcoin's in my wallet, right? And then you got all these transactions flying everywhere. And so Bitcoin uses miners to validate those transactions and update the ledger, right? To make sure that, everybody's, numbers are accurate and to prevent the double spend. So back in 2009, when Bitcoin was just being pioneered, right? The block rewards, if you successfully mined a block, if you were the lucky one to win the block, you would get 50 Bitcoin. However, 4 years into Bitcoin, the first halving happened. So then if you hit a block of Bitcoin, it was only worth 25 Bitcoin, right? Then another 4 years in 2016, the halving happened again. It was worth 12.5. And then 2020? It was in 2020, right?
Yeah, 2020.
Like March, right? So somewhere in March of 2020, I think it was, the last halving just happened, and now the block reward's worth 6.25. So what does that mean, right? Well, as a miner, right, I have electricity expenses, I have hardware expenses, and the investment strategy is a little bit different for a miner, right? us as a Bitcoin miner, we don't like to sell our Bitcoin, right? We like to hold on to it. We're big hoodlers, but we're willing to cash out enough to cover our electric expenses, our hardware costs, right? So with each year, as the miners are able to mine less and less Bitcoin, there's going to be less for sale in the market. Well, what happens when something that's in high demand has a finite supply of $21 million? What happens when the demand goes up, but the supply gets smaller, right? Well, the price goes up. So a lot of people kind of, they don't really understand that. But what you're going to see is every 4 years, you're going to see a massive run up like we're seeing right now, right? And then you're going to see a major sell off. Goes back down, the news comes out, oh no, Bitcoin's going to zero, right? It's just really the bear market. It's time to go down, right? It's the downtrend. So essentially every 4 years, you're going to have this amazing opportunity to cash out, right? Now, Bill, you're just getting started. So I wouldn't, really worry about selling for the next 4 or 5 years. But however, if anybody is looking to follow Bill's, investment with the dollar cost averaging, like I said, just make sure that it's money that you don't need back for rent next week, right? And I know that we're harping on these kind of like beginner level things, but when I first got into cryptocurrency, let's put it this way, I lost over 54 Bitcoin and it sucked. I mean, I don't even know what 54 Bitcoin's worth right now, but I did a chain analysis for my taxes, right? And let's see what Bitcoin's worth, just so I can see how much
I'm doing.
Price. But they ran a chain.
God almighty.
Yeah, bro. I'm a knucklehead. 54 Bitcoin.
Wealthy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
3 million?
Yeah, 54 Bitcoin.
3.3 mil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
My forensics guy, he called me. He goes, are you sitting down? I was like, yeah, I'm driving. Of course I'm sitting down, right? And he's like, dude, we just ran the analytics on your wallet. You have a 54 Bitcoin loss on your wallet. I said, holy shit, man. So like, that's kind of why I harp, man, because there's so many shiny objects out there that it can just take your attention in this market. And you think it's going to be the next big thing. And then guess what? The bear market comes and boom, that project crashes and goes to zero. And the developers just quit working on it. And so that's another reason why I'm so big on sticking with coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin, because I know for a fact, to a high degree level of confidence, that those projects are going to continue. The price is going to continue to go up and up and up over the next 10 to 20 years, right? Now, there may be some new technology that comes out during that time that maybe it does take over the space, but Bitcoin's a brand. It's very popular, right? So what's this? Damn, Holly. Let's see what's going on here. So so he's saying, all right, let's start at the top. He said, the BTC price is manipulated by whales who hold a large percentage of BTC and are able to talk to each other since there's no regulations preventing them. So it can go to 300 or go back to 3. Yes, it could go to, now here's the deal though. It could go back down to $3,000, right? It could, right? However, at this point, there's so many large institutions that want to get their fingers on cheap Bitcoin that if the price even went down to $20,000, I honestly think that these large institutions like Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy would just come swarming in and buy that whole supply up. I don't know. I could be wrong in that.
I don't know if we can go under 10K again. Like if it goes under 20K, I'm gonna get rid of all my US dollar and just buy it all.
That's
if it goes under 10K, I don't know what everyone else is gonna do. Like, I don't know.
Right.
It back so quick because people would just empty their bank account.
And then Holly says, and you really need to buy new miners every 6 months to keep it. Can get expensive miners and electric. We found business studios that are needed to be rented out, had them included electric in for a year, so we didn't have to pay for it. I exhausted locally for that a few years back. So that with the it really depends, Holly. So I could talk about the mining stuff. So what Holly was doing, was buying, she was probably mining Bitcoin, right? And there's a couple different, and just so you guys know, cryptocurrency mining, you can't mine every single coin out there because some of them don't run on a proof of work protocol, but the major ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ravencoin, Beam, Grin, there's some other popular ones out there that you can mine with computer hardware, whether it's an ASIC miner, which I'm about to show you. And this is another passive, this is another investment strategy that can yield a passive income. Now, with that said, Bitcoin mining does consume large amounts of electricity. Bill, I already see you foaming at the mouth. Yes, you can plug one of these machines in your office, but they produce a lot of heat. So if you like a sauna, they're great. But if you don't like a sauna, they're not great, right?
Well, I just so happen to have a studio that has a big ass aircon and it freezes my ass. So
right. So these, so what's crazy about the mining hardware is the price. Dude, they were selling these for about $1,700 back. Let me see here. Back when we were still down here in this price phase for Bitcoin. So right here we are. But down in here, they were selling that same miner for about $1,700 to $1,500. So right now is a bad time to buy these ASIC miners. Now, these ASIC miners, they're specifically built in China, and this one predominantly only mines what we call the SHA-256 algorithm, which is the algorithm, the hash function that Bitcoin runs on, right? Ethereum runs on the ETH hash Dagger Hashimoto algorithm. Bitcoin runs on the SHA-256 algorithm. There's a bunch of these hash functions, these algorithms that these cryptocurrencies run on, right? But ASIC mining, this computer right here, don't get me wrong, you can make a grip of money ASIC mining Bitcoin, millions of dollars if you do it right, right? However, once this computer becomes obsolete, it's not like you could turn around and sell it for anything. It's a boat anchor at that point, right? Then you get into the other type of mining, which is GPU mining, right? This is predominantly my background right here, but you could buy gaming graphics cards, right? You could plug them into the, let's see here. Let's see if I can get a better picture. So this is kind of a good illustration of it. So you can see right here, he's got probably 10 or 13 graphics cards on here. And this is what we call a GPU miner. And so this is one of my favorite ways to mine cryptocurrency. And the reason why is because even if this hardware becomes obsolete for mining cryptocurrency, right? You could still repurpose it, turn them into and sell the cards to gamers. You could build gaming PCs and sell them on eBay. I've had a lot of success buying and flipping mining hardware, especially to gamers after it's done. But you know, with GPU mining, we got cards that are 6-7 years old that are still mining profitably. So let me see here real quick. And it's just more, to me, GPU mining is more flexible, right? So I got the, let's see right here, the RX 480 that launched in 2016. So if you had an RX 480 on your computer right now, you can make right around $2.21 a day mining on that. After your electricity, you're looking at about $1.88. But that card, that GPU is literally almost 6 years old. Oh, yeah, almost 6 years old, and it's still mining profitably, right? And I would say, Holly, that the newer ASICs have gotten better. I would say that technology, if you get it when they first release on the market, when a new miner is released on the market from Bitmain, you could usually get about 1.5 to 2 years out of that model before you have to upgrade to the new technology now. That may have been different back when you were participating in it, you know, because there was a lot of different things going on at the time. They were developing a lot more ASICs, you know, relatively quickly back then. But now they're getting to the point where, you know, new development comes out maybe once every 2 years now, right? Because the chips are as thin as they can get. Anyways, don't mean to digress into that, but it has gotten better, right? And then just to kind of show you guys too, man, I would highly recommend if you got a gaming PC with a graphics card on it, and if you don't know, all you got to do is just right click. If you're on Windows anyway, right? If you're on a Mac machine, I would not advise mining, but you can see right here, system. Let's see where it went. just pull up my device manager real quick here.
Oh no, did you see the comment about the 300 BTC?
Let me see here.
Okay, what do you mean? 300 BTC?
So he says, I have a wallet out there I can't find when I was in the beginning. It has 300 BTC on an external drive. We still to this day cannot find the hard drive. I lost that wallet and like 30 million Dogecoin in the beginning too. So stupid to think of it. If you, Holly, if you have any trace of that anywhere, you know, I might have a crypto recovery expert that can help you find that. If you have anything, like even the public key, right? I don't know if you saved the public key for it, but my buddy that they check out Recover My Crypto. Go to them, fill out a support ticket, because they are a crypto recovery expert. And you know, if you have that public address, they might be able to put like some kind of what the hell is that thing called that will just keep on trying different private keys? It's like a scanner. It's like a
brute force.
Brute force, yeah. So they'll have like they'll put it on like an AWS server, and then they'll just keep on taking random guesses at that seed phrase to unlock that wallet for you. So, but damn, 300 BTC, I'd be shitting bricks right now. Holy cow.
I want to go back
yeah.
to that one about the $3,000 Bitcoin.
The 3K.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of near and dear to Dom, because Dom's like, there's no way in hell $3,000 Bitcoins ever come into existence ever again. And I tell you why, because I would back the truck up. I would sell my house to buy $3,000 Bitcoin. I'd probably take out a second mortgage.
Also because of the math that was used to design Bitcoin. Bitcoin was thought of for several years in the background by several smart people using a lot of math and a lot of just inspiration from these already existing things that created Bitcoin. So it's gonna, if you want to research it, you can. It's just like the Bitcoin, the math that created Bitcoin. It's gonna take you a long time. It probably took me like 2 years to really figure this out. But there's just so much that went into the designing of Bitcoin that it's most likely impossible at this point for it to go back to $3,000.
Oh, yeah. You can even read the Bitcoin white paper if you want to learn about how it was created. I love the works cited section because it includes technology from even like the 70s, I believe. They just show that Bitcoin is a culmination of these technological advances, you know, because people have been trying to make a digital currency that's decentralized for like a really long time. So it's just really cool to see.
I think they were trying to make I definitely agree with you. They were trying to make a digital currency, but I don't think that they were trying to make a decentralized digital currency. I think that Bitcoin was the first of its kind, but it
was the first of its kind, but people did attempt things like that before. I don't know if
right. There was one called Hashcash. It was called Hashcash, right?
Yeah, and eCash. They had to be updated manually. There was one that was updated manually every day in a bank. That one failed. Then there were just other ones that didn't have a good security mechanism. There's a huge list of all these attempted like Bitcoin type things.
The one thing that something else that could kind of help you guys out. I don't know how much trading you guys do in the community, but if you just Google search Bitcoin log chart, Dom, where's the rainbow colored one? Can you send me a link in the chat for the rainbow colored one? I like that one better.
Oh, just do Bitcoin rainbow chart.
Bitcoin rainbow chart.
Yeah, it should be the first one. I actually found something better than that. Right there.
Really?
Yeah.
So this right here will give you a really good overall sense of kind of like where we're heading in the big picture. You know, it's more of like a zoom out kind of situation though. Come on. Is it loading? There we go. Rainbow log chart.
Oh, that's the chart, and you have it loaded. To zoom in, you have to like click and then drag and.
Dude, where the hell's my chart?
Oh yeah, what just happened?
It's like my screen's messing up or something. Anyways, there's a Bitcoin rainbow one, but you can see right here, we came up, boom, touched this top band, and then the bear market came back down, right? Boom, here's another one. And this is this one's actually an interesting one right here because it's almost like we had 2 bull runs, right? They come back down, right? Then in 2015, boom, we had a major run up, touched the top of that band, and then came back down, boom, bear market, and then boom, we came sideways again. So you could see the patterns right here. You got a run up and then an area of accumulation, right? You got another run up, sideways, another run up. So you can see right here, this bull run, according to the log chart, can't be over yet, right? Because we haven't even hit this upper band. So you can see right here, the top of that band is somewhere between 140 to 100. But it's broke out of those bands before, right, Dom?
Oh, it's gone below the bands before, and it's gone slightly above the bands. I think it's more prone to going slightly below, just because that is like, it's called the fair value price. So the bottom is like the fair value. Anything above the bottom is either healthy or bubble territory.
Yeah. So there it is right here on the rainbow log chart. Another tool that I like to use is called Aurochs. Right here. And let me see here. I'll give you guys the link for this once you see it. You'll probably want in on this too. Try it free.
Should we go into NFTs at some point?
Yes, I'm going to have Mikey talk about NFTs, but I wanted to show people this Aurochs tool real quick. Because if you're not really all that great at trading, you can use this to kind of give you, it's kind of like a cheat sheet, right? It's not 100% accurate, but every little indicator that you can get will help, right? So let's see here. This is BTC, right? And you can see right here, indicators. We got Aurochs.
So most people probably won't be trading, but what you're showing them now could help them make a slightly better buying decision than just purchasing it randomly at the top.
So this is Aurochs. Get Aurochs right here. I'll send you the link for this in the chat. There's a couple things that this tool can do to kind of help you out, right? Because some people may be like, well, I know that I mentioned I don't like to give sell targets, and for good reasons, right? Because I don't like to give people a lot of financial advice just because I would feel bad. Nobody has a crystal ball in this, right? But this is Aurochs. I shared it in the group. If you go over here to Aurochs, there's an indicator called the Pi Cycle Top Indicator. And it says this is a simple indicator that detects major selling points in the Bitcoin cycle. When the orange line, which is the 111 moving average, crosses above the green line, which is the 350 moving average, it has historically been a great time to sell. This trigger has happened only 3 times in the past, each time predicting major downturns in the market, including the 2017 crash. And then it prefaces and says this indicator should only be used for Bitcoin and only on exchanges with a lot of past data, such as Bitstamp, Bitfinex, or Bittrex, right? So there's some rules to it, right? So we got the Bitcoin chart pulled up right here. It's on Bitstamp. And you can see right here, they said, let's just scroll all the way back, right? To see how accurate it is, right? So you can see right here. Let me unpack this for you real quick. So you can see right here, this orange line runs up, it crosses over the green line, right? Right about there, bam. And then guess what happens? Major sell-off. So this would have been a good time to sell right in that area, right? Same thing with this one. Had another run up, right? And honestly, I think that this is what's happening when I get into the current market cycle. Pay attention to this because I think that we're going to have 2 pie cycles this bull run. That's exactly what's happening. But you can see right here, here's another one, right? The orange line crossed over the green line, boom, major sell-off. Would have been a great time to sell, right? So let's just keep going. And again, this isn't, you know, this is the detect the major sell zones, right? And so we've been watching this for a while. So look, this is the 2017 crash. Look, right where the green line crosses the or the orange line crosses the green line, boom, it goes over. Major sell-off. Would have been a great time to short the market right then and there. You could have made a shitload of money. Matter of fact, if you would have just had 1 Bitcoin, sold it at, you know, say you bought it down here at like $1,100, then sold it for 20 grand, you know, you would have been able to buy 6 Bitcoin here at the bottom, right? So then you took your 1 Bitcoin, you flipped it into 6, and then rode the next leg up. Anyways, let's keep going here for a second. So you see right here, we had another one, right? Look, right about here, bam, the orange line broke above. This is right in the area where Elon put out that tweet stating that Tesla was not going to accept or put a hold on accepting Bitcoin as payment. And then guess what happened? Boom, major sell-off. However, if you look at 2013 and 2014, we actually had 2 pie cycles go off in that. So I think that this is kind of the same scenario where we're going to have, you know, this pie cycle went off here, went back down, we went sideways for a little bit, and now we're creeping back up and we're going to make another all-time high. And then that pie cycle, this orange line is going to get pulled up towards the green line again. When it crosses, boom, get out now, right? So this is Aurochs. Like I said, there's other indicators in here that you can use. I think there's another one called, where's it at? Demand index, Aurochs fear and greed, the Aurochs indicator. So this is another one called the Aurochs indicator. And basically what this one does, the Aurochs, our in-house indicator, which predicts entry points at 70% accuracy, activate it and follow a simple long and short arrows to realize profits, right? And there's a couple articles they have on it too as well, but basically this will give you a buy and sell signal. The greens are buys and the reds are good sell points, right? So you can see right here, if you hit this sell point right here, boom, you would have caught it, right? However, they're you know, it's not 100% accurate, but you can use it as an additional piece of confirmation to just kind of back your theory up. And especially it works, you know, I've seen it work really, really well in some of these altcoins too as well. So anyways, if you're looking for a good tool, like I said, I shared that in the group. Thanks for the presentation. You're welcome, Susie. I would, you know, like I said, if you're looking for a good charting tool, this can make it really, really easy for you. There is a little bit to learn on that. So just go ahead and sign up for it. I think they actually even got their own crypto you can invest into as well. As far as NFTs go, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute here.
Should we do questions? See if anyone has questions and go over NFTs. Like,
yeah. Make sure, who please ask any questions that you guys want. I'll do my best to answer them, or Don will.
There were also some previous questions that I've got addressed.
Where do you buy NFTs?
Where do you buy NFTs? Mikey, share
Mike, get closer.
Share your screen.
It's hard to hear you sometimes.
It's hard to hear your mic.
It's not picking you up perfectly.
You could have said that before.
Yeah.
And then share your screen, Mikey, if you can.
I cannot. I'm just going to speak. Basically.
Or here, Dom, if you want, share your screen and let's go over the NFT marketplace. There's a couple places that you can buy them.
Yeah, Mike will talk over my screen. That's probably the best way. So just direct me, sir.
All right. So I guess we're gonna answer this person's question, right? About where to buy an NFT.
Yeah.
And just so you guys know, the value of these NFTs, because I had to understand like what makes them so valuable, right? And the value of them is highly subjective. And what do I mean by that, right? Well, right now there are Pokemon cards that you can buy for $350,000, right? believe it or not. I think I don't know if everybody realizes this, but the Pokemon card craze is here, right? And to an average person like me that does not watch Pokemon or give a shit about Pokemon, that card is worth 0, right? To a guy like me. However, to a true collector, right? We got Dutchman. To a true collector, though, that is into Pokemon, that collects a lot of collectibles, that card is worth $350,000. So that's what I mean by it being subjective, right? Another example of a non-fungible token could be a baseball ticket, right? The value of that ticket is subjective on a couple different factors. One, if say it's a Cubs ticket, right? Well, if I'm not a Cubs fan, that ticket ain't worth nothing to me, right? Because I'm not a Cubs fan. However, to a diehard Cubs fan, that ticket's worth whatever that person's willing to pay for it because they're into that sort of thing, right? So that's what I mean by being subjective. Now, even the placement of where that ticket, if it's a box seat ticket versus a nosebleed ticket, that's going to affect the value of it, right? So that's what I mean by the value of these are very subjective. And it is a very speculative market. With that said, I'm going to kind of let Mikey take over and kind of break down this NFT landscape.
Yeah. So, basically what Dustin was saying before that, basically he was saying that the value of an NFT is subjective. It's based on, the value that, somebody who's purchasing it or observing it, is putting on the NFT. But basically, for those of you who don't know what an NFT is, one way to understand it is to know, what a fungible token is, which would be something like Bitcoin, where every single Bitcoin can be broken down and exchanged for another Bitcoin or a different increment of Bitcoin. There's a means of exchange between this asset compared to a one-of-one painting, or as Dustin was saying, a Cub Scout. I'm sorry, not a Cub Scout. Jesus, a Cubs ticket, a baseball ticket for a specific seat, something that's very specific that is a one-of-one. A blockchain is able to keep track of this asset, which is actually scarce. It's a scarce digital asset that has a finite number.
Right.
And basically, the way people really began using this technology, a lot of it involves art and like digital collectibles and stuff like that. And that's what we're seeing on a lot of these marketplaces that you can buy like an NFT on or even sell one, which Dom has open right now.
But then you got these certain NFTs that you buy them, right? And if you hold both of, or based on my understanding, like you can mint other NFTs from owning certain types of NFTs. It's kind of like the crypto kitties where they breed other NFTs and stuff like that. And that's where I'm like, whoa, this is getting
it's almost like an airdrop, basically.
Yeah, there's so much that we could.
Does everybody in the group understand what an airdrop is? Give me a 1 in the chat if you know what an airdrop is.
I just kind of dropped like a buzzword on everybody.
Maybe we should save that for the next call because we're going over like kind of the broad spectrum right now, so then we can go down.
Yeah, but we could drill down into the other rabbit holes. I mean, we're just kind of just talking, right? Just having a crypto conversation, talking about the market, things like that. But anyways, these NFTs, these minting NFTs, right?
I don't know if it's a scam.
Yeah, so basically by holding one NFT, it can be coded in a way where you're able to do other things like mint another NFT. Like me, I'm creating NFTs that can be split into equal increments, equal parts. And essentially these digital assets can be coded to do different things. In the future, the deed to your house could even be an NFT. Like it goes really far outside of art and just digital collectibles and stuff like that, what you can do with an NFT. It's a lot more than just, like this 3D rotating shoe or something like that.
Well, and so Mikey, how and how do people what are some things to look for if they're like trying to figure out whether it's a scam or not? Like, is there any kind of clues or hints or some sort of framework that they can use?
If you're buying an NFT because you like it or because you want to make money. I mean, if you're buying, if you're buying something because you like it, I mean, you can't really get scammed, I suppose. But if you're trying to
Right.
make money, I suggest looking into a lot of these people that make NFTs use Twitter. They're on Discord. You might be able to meet up with them in Discord channels. I'm pretty sure I just said Twitter. Definitely Instagram.
So how can they, so I know one way we could possibly look at, see if it's a scam is the beautiful thing about the blockchain, based on my understanding, you could take that NFT, it has a public address assigned to it, right? And you could look that up on the blockchain to see who the previous, what it was bought and sold for previously, right?
Mm-hmm. Most marketplaces will actually show that on the product page, but yeah, you could go into the Block Explorer and look at it the way you would like a Bitcoin transaction. Yeah.
So if I clicked on one of these, could I do that? Right? Could I like just click?
Oh
on
yeah.
anyone?
If you click on one, you could see if somebody bought it already, or, you know, like the history of it.
Right here.
Owned by T-Rex. So you could see everything that's in his portfolio, right? You kind of see what he's up to.
Mm-hmm. Collections like this usually do very well. A lot of, and this is an avatar based one, almost like CryptoPunks.
So what is the big like movement behind owning this alligator looking, cigarette smoking, bandana wearing alligator?
A lot of these things are community based, actually. I could almost bet that these people have like a Discord channel, and they found investors early on and had a pre-sale. I'm trying to look at their just different like stats on them and stuff.
So is it like more of a, is there any like methodology, like methods that you can use to make money in NFTs, or is it kind of like a, you know, like
imagine
what would you look for if you were looking to make money in the NFT space? Like, what would you be looking out for? What would you be paying attention to? Like, what are some of the precursors to that, right?
I would be looking for people that are doing something, they're pioneering some type of new technology in the NFT space or something in that realm. A lot of these
be
people,
honest with you, like this one right here is $269 worth of Ethereum. I would be pissed if somebody sold me that for 20. But then
I would
again,
be pretty pissed too. Me, I personally don't like CryptoPunks, but I understand why they're like important.
It's a COVID pump.
So why are they? What's the big aha behind the CryptoPunks?
You're basically able to take you know, an assortment of eyes, an assortment of different facial features and characteristics, and, you know, either make them, like pre-make them or automatically generate them to make these collections that people mint, and they randomly get one, and depending on these characteristics, it may be more rare and valuable. So it's kind of gamified, actually, in a way. And then people are putting these avatars as their picture on social media. It's almost becoming a game and like a status symbol. Once you hop in, you'll understand that there's like, I guess, like a culture behind it. Like that's really the whole movement, you know. It's a culture.
One thing I realized recently about NFTs after being in a few Discord groups is that some of them are actually striving to like make a cartoon or to somehow make this thing popular in another aspect of the world. So then the NFTs get more value. So everything might start as an NFT, but then they make a YouTube channel around it, and then they make like a brand around it, and all of that then pumps up the price of the NFT.
I know, I don't know if Bill minds me sharing this, but I know that we've been wanting to do some SEO stuff with NFTs as well, and kind of
I've been thinking about that too, actually.
Yeah, taking some of
they're a little bit different to market. It's very community based.
Steve is wanting to know if he should chime in. Yes, if you can.
Oh yeah.
If your mic handle it.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Steve. We got Steve.
Hey, Steve.
We got Steve. He's one of my developers. He's on our team too. And Steve is kind of like he's like the godfather of crypto out of our tribe, man. He's been in crypto the longest. So
since like 2010, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
2011, 2012. I think 2012 was my first transaction.
That's still very early.
There was a brief moment where all of us thought that Steve was Satoshi Nakamoto himself for a minute there.
Wait, you guys still don't think that? Wait,
I don't know. I don't know, man.
Right, so
I know he is. I don't even have a question. I
just
don't even
a
have to
real
question.
quick sideline point here. On the NFTs, it's not just art, guys. So here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. You asked a question earlier, Dustin, about why they're so valuable.
Right.
Well, let me put it in the very simplest terms I can. If I could offer you one of something that would be yours, and only you had the right to sell it, only you had the right to do anything with it, what's the value you put on that? And what I'm saying is it can't be duplicated. It can't be recreated. It's not replaceable. It's not the same as another tangible item.
Right.
So to make a valid point, you got a hat on your head right now. And I don't know how much that hat is, but if I offer you $1,000, will you give me your hat?
Hell yeah. I know where 20 more of these things are for $20.
Exactly.
Damn right I would.
Exactly. You already have a value in your head of what that hat's worth. But let's say you had a chance to get George Washington's axe that he cut the cherry tree down, or with whatever it is.
I'd buy the axe that he cut.
Oh yeah, I would buy that.
100%. I'd be like Joe Rogan, dude. I'd have that thing like a sword on my desk when I'm doing my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Like even that, like hypothetically, if we did find George Washington's axe that he used to cut down the cherry tree, whatever, like hypothetically, if we found it, we could make it an NFT. Like you can make a physical object, like an NFT, and you can even make it a very public thing too, so everybody can enjoy it.
So if I wanted to make $1 million in NFT space, like how would I go about doing that? Like quickly, like would I develop my own NFTs? Would I look at flipping NFTs? Like what would I be doing?
Well, here's the thing, and I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to say
go for it.
With NFTs, you got a difference than you have with Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, you have an up and down rally space, right?
Right.
If you see it falling, hey, you can get out of it. With NFTs, because it is a two-party request, it's not actually an agreement yet. You can't force somebody to buy it from you. You can get stuck with a whole bunch of NFTs that if their projects fall out, you really don't make any money. So to answer your question, the quickest way to make money is to look at projects that have already proven themselves in spaces that already exist. And you engage yourself with those communities, and you'll see things like mints come up, new projects. Like right now, everybody's excited about CryptoPunks. You asked earlier why. Well, because they got the title of being the first NFT, but they really weren't. But they were the first collective procedurally generated. And what that means is they took a computer script and they randomly, without any other input, generated these pictures that were made into the CryptoPunks. They then took a hash and hashed out that image bit by bit so it couldn't be copied. So there's never ever be a duplicate made, right? And what that gave people a chance to do is they had a chance to experience owning it and minting it and creating it and then flaunting it, for lack of better words.
Right.
They wanted to show it off. And so you get clout. Think about this for a second. How much clout would you have if you had the very first baseball card ever made?
I mean, I'd get a lot of clout, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
And so we want to be in the space, like Mikey was saying earlier, where you're doing something revolutionary, but you got to understand that revolution is really just an advancement of technologies that already work.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead. Go for it.
I was just going to say that in this instance, you got NFTs out here that can be literally mapped out to anything to be hashed to meet your biometric code. You can take and put a car title, a house title, land title, whatever else that you want somebody else to be able to purchase from you, and you can tie it to a digital contract where it's written in an immutable force. That's what we call Bitcoin, or we call Ethereum, is it's an immutable force. It cannot be changed. It has to stay the same, and it's a validation of an action. Now,
Right.
for a million years, people have been trying to figure out a way to prove that somebody did something if they weren't there.
Right.
And we've got situations every day where people try to mimic or fake some kind of transaction where they're not physically there. And the beautiful thing about the Bitcoin and the blockchain and NFTs and that path is that it, whether you want it to be or not, it's honest.
Right.
And we know that because it can't be changed without changing the future adaptations of it, we can validate that it's honest.
Right.
And
Well,
so,
and that's my point. Cause like, you know, like even the cool thing for me behind NFTs is like, you know, say, you know, William's the content creator, he puts a piece of content out, right? He wants to validate, hey, I am the original creator of this content. He could turn that piece of content into an NFT, and then therefore it is now time stamped on the blockchain. So if somebody tries to steal that piece of content, Bill could say, no, I am the original owner of this content. Here's the timestamp. Here's when it was uploaded to the blockchain. I actually own the key to this content. So everybody else basically copied my content at that point, right?
and that's true. And you can also do something called a royalty block on that. So if you want to allow people to use the original NFT, then you can take and you own the rights to the use of that element, whatever that element is. And now we're seeing even things where people are doing rentals, like car rentals on NFTs, where they have to be returned back to an owner at a certain time, or they automatically get charged more because it's already built into a smart contract.
Right.
So we're able to interact with other smart contracts. We're able to take that information and put it into an immutable force, and we're able to address that to anything, whether it's tangible, non-tangible, whether it's emotional, or whether it's not emotional, whether it's static or instatic, as to whether or not we can actually get to it at that time or not.
Right.
So we don't even have to be in the same place and time we are, and we can own it.
So how does that royalty feature work then? Essentially, like, well, say he had a piece of content, he only wanted to give out 20 copies, right? Or I don't know how the royalty stuff works with that, but like,
so a smart contract. Let's take out everybody. When you say NFT, you automatically think of OpenSea, Rarible, and you think of all these marketplaces. But what you got to understand is, before there was a marketplace, there was a set of code that we set the parameters to, and if you met those parameters, it was executed.
Right.
So what an NFT really is it's tying a physical or a media file or an art file or some kind of abstract object to that smart contract. Now, that being said, it goes one step further than where we're at right now. We will eventually be able to interact with that smart contract using other smart contracts, which allows us to do things like splitting the NFT. It allows us to do things like creating multiple strings of the NFT. When you see these mutants out here on Bored Apes Yacht Club and stuff like that, they brought out the mutants, and they wanted to know why they were so important. It was because they were provable by the hash string. So they took elements from an already existing hash and created a new generation, which changed with every person that got a different NFT. Their hash was unique to themselves. So that mutant strain that they put out there didn't necessarily affect everything, but in reality, let's go past the pretty of what it was. We say mutant serum because that's easy for our minds to understand. But what it really was is it was an algorithmic key that changed the numerical place of each one of those using a cipher to create a new generation.
Interesting.
So no two generations were created exactly the same because they didn't start from the same platform. They didn't start from the same digital expression. Now, that means that in the future, we'll be able to mutate our own existing contracts and do more with them. NFTs is a space of technology that we're not truly ready to truly dive into to its ultimate. So we boil it down to two things. We boil it down to, like Mikey said earlier, it's for fun or art, or because you're interested in it, or because you want to make money with it, because those are the only two venues that people see right now. Now,
well, wait till it hits the gaming space, though. When you're able to mint a weapon for a game, right, and you could sell that to another gamer, like, and it's like you minted, maybe you only made 2 of this weapon, right?
Right. So right now, Axia Infinity is actually doing a thing where you can do Battle Beast together, and that NFT is going through the roof with over $1 billion worth of side trades, because their attributes are exchangeable between any other NFT. Now, granted, it's done with a different type of token. It's not an ERC 721. It's an 1155 or 59. But the whole point is they used a contract to interact with another contract to do something so that you were able to create an element and push it off to other people, and that brought value.
Right.
So if you would have been an Axie Infinity owner when it was just land grabs, right? They did land grabs for 3 months. The land was going out for like maybe $300-400 in ETH. And now those pieces of land are going for 13 to 15 ETH a piece.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Right.
I'm kicking myself. I had a chance to buy those crypto or those NFT hippos, the hippos or whatever. I had a chance to buy them for $150, and now like one hippo's worth like 89 Ethereum. I'm like, dude, why did I not just buy one? You know what I mean? But
the Raging Rhinos were awesome. It was actually rhinos. Yeah, they were awesome. And the thing is that every space, and I don't care who you are in crypto, if you say that you were at the very beginning, then most people can't truly understand that the very beginning didn't happen the day that we started mining. It didn't happen the day that the code was allowed for people to download. It actually started when people started putting an application and use case to that. Because before that, all you were doing was doing a friend a favor and running your miner so that they have this little toy chain to work on, right? That toy chain just continued to grow, and we saw it go from, $2, $10, $20, $40, $60. They got up to like $300, $700, $800, $900, $1,000. And I remember the day that Bitcoin went to like $1,000. It was like from 800 to 1,000 in one day, and it was the biggest jump joy kind of thing. But then you were like, well, what the hell are you really going to use it on? Because nobody was taking it at a time, and people started going around saying, okay, well, we're gonna be the next evolution, and people couldn't see the evolution because it didn't exist then.
Right.
It wasn't concrete. Now that it's concrete, everybody's like, well, hell, way back then, if I'd have been there, I'd have bought $25,000 worth. No, you wouldn't have, because you won't.
Nobody knew the value of that network at that time. Like nobody knew. I mean, I came into contact with Bitcoin, and I was like, cool. So I know how to buy steroids now. If I ever want to buy human growth hormone, or if I ever want to make my muscles bigger, I can just use Bitcoin. Anyways, guys, I think we're probably running a little bit low on time, huh, Will? But
you're over time, but y'all can keep going as long as you want. Really.
The one thing that I kind of wanted to do for these classes, right, is have some kind of like shill of the week or coin of the week, like something that we possibly would be looking at speculatively or anything like that. So like between Dom, Mikey, or Steve, what's the new flavor of ice cream for the week? And you could say there's no ice cream to be had this week, right? But let's give.
I mean, all three of us got Shib, right?
Yeah, I mean, Shib.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, Shib is.
Shib,
yeah,
polka dot. Yeah, I mean, I've been stacking polka dot like the way I've been stacking Bitcoin. And
yeah, I have to agree with the polka
Chainlink
dot thing right now, because Chainlink is starting a new project. Polka dot's starting a new project. Shib kind of got short-lived because somebody decided to do the math on it and figure that it has to go up 12,300 and something percent to even get to a cent, right? But can it do it? Not without the market cap and a lot of other things that we're really not kind of focused on changing. But even if it goes up, 3 decimal places, and that's 1,000%, that's pretty impressive.
So you're saying Dot's got some new development going on, so that possibly could be the buy the rumor, sell the news type of scenario kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see the drop in the hype and see a little bit more production out of the team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I will say this: they are going to their first interoperable, so they're going to be able to go between multiple blockchains.
Yeah.
And once we see that actually take formation, you're going to see a really quick rise in Polkadot because there's going to be a lot more use case scenario. And what a lot of people fail to realize about crypto is it's great to be an early adopter. Love that. That's wonderful. Do it forever, right?
Yeah.
But it's also really good to realize that there's a use case scenario in something and being able to hold it through the fire. And I think that that's where Ethereum was beautiful. Like, I remember not even 2 years ago, Ethereum was like, what, $400? It was like, oh yeah, okay, well, sure, whatever. And then all of a sudden it was $3,000 and people were going, well, shit, I got a little bit left. I moved this over here and gave this away and bought this. And,
Yeah.
But that goes back to the whole thing. You never know what the net worth is going to be. So if you believe in a project, don't feel like you're getting lost in the project. And I think that as far as ice cream flavors go, they do change kind of every week. That's a very good.
They do. And that was kind of my point for Bill and anybody that's getting, just familiar with the space, right? Like, stick with Bitcoin, stick with Ethereum. And then as you grow your knowledge base, then maybe take 5% of your portfolio and buy something speculative like SHIB or Doge or something like that. But get your, what I call your bread and butter established first, right? So that's going to be buying your $10 or $20 worth of Bitcoin every week. That's going to be, buying your $5 to $10 worth of Ethereum every week. And then if you have some money left over and you really are just bored and want to have some fun, then at that point, maybe play
There's
some
nobody- there's
$50 on it.
There's definitely nobody mad about cost averaging, right? I think cost averaging is one thing that everybody has to look at spectively and say it's always going to go up. And even if you're on the wrong side, you're still in a holding position.
But I do think that by large part of this market, and this is the more that we educate you on this, the more that you're going to realize you can make money, right? So 90% of this money in the market is dumb money. And what do I mean by that? They're chasing every shiny object. They're cashing out their Bitcoin for this or putting all their money on this, right? And then the other 10%, probably less than that, I'd say 5% of the market is smart money, right? They're not chasing this shiny objects. And, it takes, I think that the dollar cost averaging method takes a lot of patience, right? It takes a lot of time to really see the benefit of it. And I think that a lot of the money that's in the market right now is kind of in this boat where they got a couple $1,000s to invest and they're trying to flip it into 40 grand in 6 months. And can you do that? Absolutely. Sure. You could probably do that with NFTs, but on the contrary, you can also lose that money, right? Remember I told you about the amount of Bitcoin that I've lost? It went quick. And so that's what I'm saying, just try to be patient with the market and try to get an understanding of, because a lot of people don't understand. They're like, well, sure, I'll hold to the bear market, whatever, right? But if it's their first bear market, they don't even understand the mental capacity that you have to keep a positive frame of mind during those times, right? Because there's a lot of doubt that can come into play, and it's like, am I making the right decision? And then when the time comes to buy more at the bottom, it's almost like you feel like you don't want to, you're scared to, right?
Right.
But then you
Hey,
forget
guys,
that. Go ahead.
I have to bounce, but y'all can keep going, and I'm gonna let Dustin take over the class. So whenever
that's
y'all
fine.
are whenever you're ready to end it, man, y'all can end it. Okay?
We'll wrap it
All
up,
right,
man. Thanks, Will.
Yes, sir.
But
Good job.
anyways, so basically what I'm trying to say is just, if you're new to the market, just be patient. It takes, look at this as a 4 to 5 year investment strategy. Don't try to look at this if you don't know anything about trading, or don't blindly take somebody's advice off of Twitter or YouTube. I've seen that happen quite a bit. And just buy, just stick to the religion, buying $20 worth of Bitcoin every week, $10 worth of Ethereum. And the money will be there, right? In 4 or 5 years. I wholeheartedly agree with that, right? But some of this the other speculative stuff, you got to get out before the end of this bull run. Otherwise, it's probably going to go to zero, right?
Right. So if you can do it and you don't have to take a fault in finding a way to get comfortable with it. And what I mean by this is you got to be literally willing to call it the lottery ticket, right? Because the lottery ticket, you either win or you don't. You scratch it off, you waste your money, whatever. But it is what it is. And in that instance, an NFT is a lot like a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Because I definitely have no problem buying 30 or 40 NFTs and knowing I may not hit on but 2 of them. Right. But I know that if I hit on those 2, I'm doing all right because I could afford to lose the 30 or 40 in the first place. And that's important, whether it's 1 or whether it's 50, you know what I mean? And I think everybody needs to understand that NFTs are a very hot market as far as their risk to gain reward ratio.
Right. We should do that. We should do that next week. Do you guys want to on the next week's crypto class, we should just show everybody how to buy an NFT, how to buy it and sell it. Right.
Yeah.
I'll buy one for like $50 or something. I don't care. Alvin says yes. Alvin says yes.
Yeah. We'll just find a base to mint from.
I'll come up with a budget, right? Like, I don't know if you guys want to throw it in on the pot too, but just call it like an experiment and just try to buy like a couple NFTs and see if we can flip them. You know what I mean? We'll just make like a little small holdings and start with like 100 or a couple $100 and then just see if we can flip that and grow that.
Mikey's laughing. I heard him.
Mikey is laughing, isn't he? Yes.
I'm silly.
For next week.
Oh, Alvin asked what I'm sorry, marketplaces. OpenSea, Rarible, Super Rare is where the really good quality stuff is. OpenSea might have like some spam kind of.
There's only like 5 marketplaces in there.
Yeah, like Mintable has gasless minting.
Yeah, Mintable just came. Added, Rarible, Super Rare.
Somebody was asking earlier about the gas fees being so high on Ethereum. The reason, I can let Steve answer that question, but a lot of it has to do with a lot of the transactions that are happening on the DeFi network. But Steve, as a last closing thought, might be able to unpack that for somebody. I seen that as a question. Somebody was asking why the gas fees are so high on Ethereum.
So with Ethereum rising in price and with there being more use case scenarios with DeFi, we've already seen a lot of code making transactions based off contracts. And so those are always going to be present in the exchange bandwidth. And so what we're seeing there is we're seeing a fight for that last 20% of bandwidth. This regulatory based off of how much of an importance people put on their transaction.
Right.
And so with multiple levels of importance to be added and the type of transaction, depending on their wallet and what they're using, they're going to see different gas fees. And what I mean by different gas fees is literally you can do one transaction, decide that gas fee is too much, stop it, wait 5 minutes, do that same transaction, and your gas fees will go through because it's had that temporary second, because bandwidth is literally recalculated every 3 to 5 seconds in the actual gas.
You know what? Somebody that needs to develop a wallet that checks the gas fees. Like you could put your transaction in there and you could just hit what you're willing to pay for gas, and it'll just keep checking until that time's just right, and then bam, it'll send that transaction right on through.
That would actually be a very cool thing. They do have estimators, so all you'd have to do is create an estimator that would be able to check it, but that is a very good idea.
So yeah, and Alvin, I do think you can buy NFTs with MetaMask. Yes, because they are ERC20 tokens, right? Like,
I just linked it there. He needs,
the wallet you need. Okay, MetaMask. Yep, MetaMask. Yeah, I'm more of just for for reference, I'm more of a cryptocurrency miner. I rely on these guys for information about NFTs and some of the speculative stuff because I have a totally different mindset, a totally different investment strategy. So that's why I brought these experts on here with me, because if you want to talk about mining, I'm your guy, right? But and all this other stuff, I mean, I understand it, but I don't understand it at the same level that these guys do. But so real quick before we get ready to go, if you guys can drop a comment. We're thinking about buying some NFTs next week, but what do you guys want to learn the most about? Like, put it in the comments so that we could take some notes. So you said, what are your ideas of doing crypto and SEO? What was your idea of doing crypto and SEO? Oh, so I mean, honestly, SEO, like, here's the thing with crypto. Never quit your day job. Never, right? And so there's a lot of people out here that are getting into cryptocurrency. I see it in these Facebook groups. There's thousands of people wanting to spin up their own NFT marketplace and all this stuff, right? And, you know, it goes back to basically what I'm trying to say is that when Bitcoin flatlines again, and when we go back down into this bear market, it's no longer going to be like the cool end thing to do, right? And so, anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. I digress. But anyways, we'll save it for. I'll save all that for next week, man. To be honest with you, but
Yeah, there's so much more.
so much to unpack there.
There's just so many rabbit holes, like.
But
a lot.
I guess the SEO thing is, you know, we really like doing SEO, believe it or not. And, you know, crypto is an investment portfolio, right? It's not something that's going to bring in consistent, reliable income, right? So, you know, like I said, when we do go into this downtrend, you better have a job to be able to buy the dip, right? So,
Right.
you know, our methodology has always been, you know, keep the agency, keep plugging away, doing what's right for clients, and then just kind of using crypto as like our side investment strategy, right? So I'm not sure what our idea was, Elvin, on doing SEO and crypto at the same time. Maybe we should do crypto SEO, right? Mix the best of both worlds.
Well, I think that was actually, I appreciate the answer in that, but I think his question was actually referring back to an earlier statement where y'all said, and he used the wrong word. He did say crypto, but it was NFTs in SEO space.
Oh, what was our idea of doing crypto and SEO? So, real quick on that. So, Bill has an ebook, right? Wrote it out. It's beautifully written. It's basically a guide to local SEO, and he wants to be able to prove that he is the original author of that piece of content, meaning that somebody can't just copy it, put their label on it and then accuse Bill of saying, hey, you stole my ebook, right? So
Yeah, of course.
one way to do that is to turn that ebook into an NFT, which will prove, and with a timestamp, that he was the original author of that piece of content, right? So, you know, if I had one of 10 copies of like a certain digital copy of the Mona Lisa, right? Well, how am I able to verify that that is one of 10 copies, right? Of this.
Another thing he could do in that same space, Dustin, is he could also add a royalty to it. So every time somebody bought that or
Right.
it was passed on, you could have so many digital copies. So you can actually make an NFT collection of all of his all of his books. Say he wanted to put out 1,000 copies of the book, and each one was given an identifying number. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like you would in any
Right.
progression. And then those, as they went out, if they ever got sold, given away, passed on, whatever, when that happened, they would end up getting charged a gas fee for it. And that gas fee would actually be the royalty that would go back to, not a gas fee, they get charged the transaction fee for it, and that would be a royalty that would go back to Bill. So
Yeah.
in a sense, he could actually make a downline of perpetual income based off of how many people share it.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of where we're getting.
Yes, Alvin.
Well, and yeah, so Bill, yeah, just so you know, Steve, you know, it's not a big issue, but he has been called out a couple times, and people think that, you know, he stole, you know, oh, you stole my content or something like that. So I told him, I was like, you know, turn it into an NFT, and then that way you can verify that you are the original author. So, Mikey, we got to make that happen for Bill sometime, man.
Oh yeah.
That's a
It's not
very
hard.
doable platform.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
well, anyways, you guys, I think it is time. It's top of the hour.
oh yeah. Just have
we
some
will-
questions ready for next week,
Get some,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm ready.
get some questions ready for next week, and then we're gonna do this again. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed it. Like I said, we're not really doing any kind of like classroom stuff. There will be some tutorial stuff that we will go over here and there, but it's really just to kind of like get everybody in the group, because crypto is a hot subject right now. Get everybody on the call. What's that?
The dog ate my homework.
Yeah, right. And just to have fun, talk crypto, answer questions. We're not trying to turn this into something that we're trying to like monetize or anything like that really per se, but just talk about all things crypto and kind of just keep everybody current with what's going on. So
Yeah, get your questions ready for the next class. Have a list ready for us. So
sweet.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well,
everyone.
that is it for today, man. We are out. I am actually going to stop sharing, but we will see you guys next week at 8:00 every Sunday.
Oh yeah.
We'll see y'all later.
Peace.
Hey.